This morning, music mogul Russell Simmons stepping away from his businesses.
Russell Simmons, now the latest big name, left to defend himself.
9 women accuse Simmons of a wide range of misconduct, from vulgar language to assault to 4 instances of rape.
What did he do?
He raped me right up against the wall. Excuse my language. But that's what he did, and I had to keep this secret.
He showed up, naked, wearing a condom, and tackled me to his bed while I screamed and fought and said no and cried. That's rape.
If the allegations are not true, why would all these women accuse you?
I heard someone else say this, that I was quite frivolous. Look, there's a song by Houdini, I'm a hoe, I'm a hoe. 3 different girls after every show. Culturally, we thought that was the right way. And a number of sexual partners and compromising positions I put myself in is beyond anybody's imagination.
You said you had more foursomes than most men have partners.
Yeah, and that wasn't really, I think it was cultural and silly and egotistic and sad and from an insecurity that feeds it, and a lot of reasons why we were that way. If you slept with as many people as I slept with, thousands, and we're talking about 6 people.
There were like 20, right? I mean, that range from
I spoke
assault
poorly.
to
You mean
rape
that's not, no.
Yeah.
I spoke poorly to 15 of them. 12 of them. I spoke poorly all the time. I'm a Def Comedy Jam guy. I was crude. So how many compromising situations was I in? And if you call that person and say, can you help me help these other women, then you can get them to tell a story and reimagine a story. And I'm not here to say what they were thinking, but I can simply tell you that I was in so many compromising situations that people can have a recollection from 30 or 40 years ago. And it can be different from my recollection. And it could be one where there was perhaps collaboration. If we had more foursomes than most guys had onesomes, could someone leave and feel hurt? Could someone leave and feel they wish they hadn't? Could someone reimagine a story out of thousands of people? Could someone want notoriety in a market where people thirst for fame, even infamous? Could someone who just came out of jail and want to sue you because they had an experience and they can reimagine it just a little bit different? And could you be vulnerable enough to accept it? I took 9 lie detector tests. People don't know that. 9 separate. 7 from the chairman of the Polygraph Association. 1 for each of the serious accusations. 1 for when someone said, for instance, I was violent. One person said that. I've never been violent. Took that. And 1 for I apologized. I never apologized about assaulting anyone. But if 2 people say it, because one said it and me too, and the second person said it, then I took a test for it. 3 hours per test by 2 polygraph examiners. 1 that I've never done this to anyone and 1 I've never done to each individual. Some people say that they're not accurate, but if they're 94% accurate, I did 9 of them, it's pretty clear that I don't believe it. I even asked well, what if I believe it, but it's not true? He said, your subconscious will get you. I said, I don't know how true that is, but that's what was told to me by the chairman of the Polygraph Association. He was filmed, by the way, talking about this, so there's footage available. No one in the mainstream would cover that.
Why do you think that is?
There's a narrative.
Which is what?
That we don't want to go backwards. We want to believe women. But women and celebrities may be in some cases a little different. But we don't want to not believe women. We have to believe women. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt, but we can't demonize people without proof either. Twitter cannot make a decision. I've never spoken to a policeman. I've never spoken to a judge about anything. So who's the judge and the jury here? Maybe you haven't lived in the real world. It's gray. No one's intentionally hurt anybody. It's a big difference. No one pushed anybody in Being pushy is different from pushing someone. It's very gray.
Rape is a strong allegation, and some of these stories were that you pinned women down. I mean, like bad stuff, you know, either happened or it didn't, right?
Yeah, well, you know, it's a serious word, but I think they've changed the meaning.
How so?
Because I've never been violent to anybody. The rape is a violent crime. So it is a very serious. Somebody jumps out of bushes and rapes somebody, it's different, I think. So it's a different kind of recollection. I mean, so I don't think anybody's saying it was violent. Of course, I've been insensitive, but certainly I've never been forceful in any of my relationships. All of what I've had has been consensual.
What errors in judgment do you think you made, looking back?
My goodness. You know, we all need to learn to be better listeners, all of us. I think that the culture and the climate was different, and the way people interacted was different. And I think to judge 40 years ago as if it was today, we get in trouble. We have to accept where we were and move on and be somewhere else in the future if we don't like where we were. And I think that we're doing that now. And I think that's the good that comes from me too. And, you know, I think this next generation should be more sensitive, and we should have a new way forward. And this is helping us to form a new way forward. It's a great movement. It's done a lot of great work for women. It's sensitized men in ways that they were not sensitized. And for that, I'm grateful.
If you had a do-over with that period, what do you think you would do differently?
A lot, but I don't have a do-over. This is the thing about practicing, being here now, and accepting what you learned and move forward. We can't do over. I haven't spoken to anybody for 5 years. It's ruined my life. It's ruined my relationship with a lot of everything. All my 5 charities have gone down. I had a lot of work. I had a lot of people I was trying to help. I had a lot of things I was doing. And I've been locked out of it. I don't want this to be the trigger to turn everything around again.
At some point, somebody's going to ask you about this, so why not do it in a controlled environment where
Is it controlled? Are you going to Graham?
No.
All right,
So,
well, let's go.
Explain why November 23 is an important month for you.
Oh, well, you know, they've had a year, the accusers, to sue me, and I haven't been sued. But I kind of believe that a lot of stuff's been in the media. First of all, 40-year-old stories are quite, you know, quite hard to prove, I guess, but in civil suits, maybe not. But they're 40-year-old stories, but they've been covered by the media. But I can't speculate as to why I haven't been sued, but, you know, we're talking about 6 serious accusations.
What did you think of the doc?
I didn't watch it.
Why not?
Because it's not true. And I think that Oprah said the stories don't add up.
Oprah also came out and said she believed the women.
I stand in support of these women. I believe them. It was a hard decision because I knew that Russell Simmons had started publicly pressuring me, and that me pulling out of the documentary was going to look like I was being pressured.
How do you square the two?
Well, her
in
saying,
terms of
she said she believed women, but if you want to call Oprah, I can give you her number. She made a movie about some women and then made it very public that she was making the movie and that she made the movie, and then she walked away. She has not come back in support. Isn't she a supporter of black women or not? You should call her. She will not defend those women. Those are black women that she said she supported. She will not defend them. She cried on the phone to multiple witnesses that she didn't even know, because she learned that hurt people, and that her stories, as an investigative journalist herself, she knows those stories should never have been printed, much less made a movie about.
what conversations did you and Oprah have during that process?
Well, the first thing I called her and I said, I'm glad it's you making the movie, because people rush to judgment, and you're a reporter. I said, well, have you spoken to anybody who was there at the time, or around that time. And then she called them. She studied them. She read their books. And then that's caused her to walk away from the movie.
What she had said, just to be clear, on like CBS this morning was that she felt more time was needed, and
to make a whole documentary, not about me.
Wouldn't.
She said to change it. She said to change the whole thing. Is what she told me. She told him. She wanted to change the entire thing to a documentary about men in general, about the whole music industry, and that I couldn't be a subject anymore because she had found too much contradictory evidence about the stories about me. That's what she told them. And that's what you could ask her that. Everybody she interviewed, she taped. She taped about 20 witnesses. Those tapes are available. If you're investigating this, maybe you should dig into those tapes. I don't want to go far into this discussion because it is a very sad moment. It was the most traumatizing experience in my entire life. It hurt my children. There are people with 40 accusations, you'd be interviewing them right now, and this subject wouldn't come up.
Well,
so
yeah,
I feel a little bit targeted, but please continue.
And I was going to say, to be clear, this is not an investigation. You have not really talked about this before, and so I was merely trying to get your thoughts on
well, I don't want to
this,
sound defensive, but yes, I told my children I would not speak about this.
Yoga, GDOS, and Hip Hop 50 are the 3 remaining topics, and I want to get a little bit with you sitting down about yoga and GDOS, since
you
then
can
we
shape
can...
my life to be a good life and be a servant to God, or you can me up. It really is that, it really is, could be that dramatic. You know, and it's been, because I left and I spent so much time here, people have assumed that I really left and ran, even though I'm back in America all the time. I'm behind the 8 ball. So I'm not expecting you to put yourself, make you look like you're wrong about anything, or that you're in favor, but you have the tools. Please don't me over.
You have the tools to provide context, and context in any story is everything.
Everything.
Yep. What have the past 5 to 6 years been like for you since 2017?
Well, I've written 4 books. I built a hotel. We have a talent agency that has 300 people working all around the world. And I live in Disneyland, yoga and vegan Disneyland. So God gave me a new lease on life and new things. Also a lot of self-reflection. How can I make that better? How can I be a better person? So I just got to accept that what I've been through is God's way of, you know, refocusing me on being a better servant. These 5 years have been both a gift and a curse.
How's it been a curse?
Well, it's been a curse because I've been demonized in ways that, and I could never defend myself enough. There's no way you can defend yourself. So for me, I have to accept the scar that they've demonized me in ways that I don't see myself, and people who know me don't see. And at the same time, I accept responsibility for having been insensitive. I've been a lot of things. Never intentionally hurt anyone. I know people are hurt, but I didn't intentionally hurt anyone. And I was never told by anyone that such a thing occurred. People will decide whether you are a good or bad person, or bad or innocent or good, by their pain body and their experiences. That's what's going to decide how they feel about you, and you can't change them. And again, I have to live with the scar.